shit given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business, not because they...
Hello and welcome back to Absolute Wonders. I'll continue from where we stopped in the last video. If you are not part of us in the last video, you need to go back there because I'm starting from where we stopped and we did some certain things there. And what I'm doing now is a continuation. So in order that you not get lost, I'll advise you go and watch the video, then join us in this one. Don't forget, this is Absolute Wonders, and don't forget to share, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, and don't forget to subscribe. So next, I've done the style. Next is this curve. What does this curve do? Let's see what it does. The curve is more of bending your text. If you bend this text, if you increase the bending percentage, text bends. If you reduce it, bends this way. If you reduce it, it bends the other way around. So that's actually what the bending does. Maybe let me bend it, let me leave it bent 20% bent, let me leave it bent this way. And the text background actually is to, if you enable it, it is to put a background on your text. That's what this text background does, to put a background on your text. Let me leave the background. So this aligning is more from where you want your work to be. Is it far left or far right? But since it's at the middle and there is no space for it to be aligned, that means there will be no place for you to get aligned to. So aligning is more of pushing it either to the left. This one will push it to the left. This one will center it at the middle. This one will push it to the right. And there's it for align. And text spacing. If you want a space in this, you increase the spacing. See, there's a space in the name between the letters. If you want them to come back together, you put it this way. They are all together. So let's leave a space, okay, at 30. Okay, at 56 actually. Let's leave it like this. It doesn't really matter, it's just a test. Okay, so there's a space. Before I continue, let me remove these things that are here. Oh, okay, let me leave them. I'll still use them to teach. So that's text spacing. So if there was another word here for line spacing, alright, let me show you what I mean by that. Let me edit this. Okay, let me write absolute wonder. Okay, excuse me. Okay, let me leave that absolute. Let me reduce this line spacing. I've reduced it. So what does this line spacing do? If there's another word under this absolute, okay, let me put a word there. Let me try and put a word there. Okay, I'm trying to put a word on absolute wonder. Yeah, that's absolute wonder. So what does this line spacing do? If you increase it, it gives a space between the first word and the word under it. So that's what this absolute wonder does. That's what, sorry about that. That's what this line spacing does. So that's it with line spacing. Stroke, 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 stroke. Okay, it is stroke. You'll see a difference if I activate or enable the stroke. You'll see a difference from our design. And if I want the inside, you see that inside the letters inside have this, well, I call it a thickness or words. Yeah, more of a thickness. And if I want to increase it, yeah, this is it's being increased. And that's what the stroke does. And here you can change the color of your stroke. Let's leave it at yellow. Let's leave it at yellow. And shadow, if you enable the shadow, you would first of all, let me remove this text background. I don't know why I don't really like it. Okay, shadow. If you enable the shadow, you'll see there's a blue. I colored my shadow blue. There's a blue shadow inside there. I see it as a shadow. I can set the offset. Want it to be this side. I want it to come this way. Want it to go down. So that's how to set the shadow. So the next is the inner shadow. You can play around with that and know how the inner shadow works. It works the same way with the other shadow, but this time around it's just that it's inside the design. You see the shadow. Yeah, that's the inner shadow. The emboss. Emboss is more from a curve or a mold or a design on the surface of your work. And so if you emboss it, you might not really notice it here, but you notice that there was a change in the design of the work here of your text. That's what embossment does. And here you edit how you want it to be, how thick, how sharp, how spectacular you want it to be. That's what the embossing does. The perspective is if you enable it, let's see what the perspective does. It's more of a kind of how you want your work to be. This is the perspective. With that perspective, our work is like this. So it's more of angle, putting your work at a certain angle and get it done. So the next thing here is your 3D rotate. Yeah, it's just rotating your work. The x-axis is being rotated this way. The y-axis is this way. So that's just what this 3D rotate does. 3D. If I disable this 3D, it's no longer a 3D, becomes a 2D work. So if I enable the 3D, you see, if you want the depth to increase, you increase the depth. If you want to reduce it, you reduce the depth. And the color of your 3D, how you want it to be. And you can work on every other thing on this 3D. You'll just tweak it the way you want it to be. Okay, this one is still the kind of the angle you want it to be. So this is the oh god, this is kind of funny. And this Z is the angle you want it to be. And there is Z plane. So that's more of the 3D. So the 3D shadow, If you want your shadow to be there, you can apply that with the 3D shadow. This is the 3D shadow here. This is a 3D shadow. Then the next is a text reflection. Text reflection. If I enable it, see my work is being reflected here. So that is what the text reflection does. So vertical offset is how far apart you want it to be from your main work. So that's a text reflection. So I've taken us through what you need to do on your text and everything. That should be the most important thing we need right now. Okay, here if you want to add shapes, if you want to import an image, you can do that here. Okay. This is an imported image. Well, I don't need an imported image now. So if you still want to draw, this is where you draw. If you want to import, this is where you import from. If you want to draw shapes, this is where you get shapes from. Now let's see the shapes. This is shapes, and if you want to get more shapes, this here is where you click on. If you click on it, you get more shapes. Let me choose this triangle. I now have a triangular shape here. If you're okay with it, it's good. That tick give you get it. So the bezier here is a vector graphics for curves and for lines, and right now I don't think we really need it. I don't think we really need it right now. So okay, let me take you guys to the upper part of Pixellab, the upper tree. So this okay, I'll take you guys on it in the next tutorial. It's already time for me. So don't forget, please, to like, don't forget to share. It is very, very important for us. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. It is absolute wonder. Don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to share. Please don't forget to comment. Thank you very much.
What you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business, not because they